All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here. I'm going to work on some tutorial stuff for the quantum indicator. So I entered a short. Obviously, it's looking really bad right now, but my entry was somewhere over here. I was just testing some things out, and if it stops me out, it stops me out. This will be an educational bit anyway, right? So ideal entry would have been at the close of this candle or a retest of the cross as we're seeing right now, right? 14. This would have given us our 10 points if we caught entry from the close, right? That's my, 5 and 10, right? Stop loss right above, which just so happens to be also across, right? Right above 525, right? Which is it's approaching, all right? I'm going to follow this. If it breaks above here, where I got nothing else holding it back, so it could potentially continue to push up. All right, I also use fibs. Then my 30 second, there it is approaching. There's a little bit of a rejection, but barely. So this probably stopped this order out. And if it does, then it's still got some downtrend to fight. So if I'm feeling ballsy, let's see, 525. Let's see if I add just for shits and giggles, because at this point adding anything here is just riskless. So only 3 point stop loss if it pumps up and breaks above 525. All right, there eliminated the line. There's a little bit of a pullback. Doesn't look that strong, so we might be seeing the flip of trend. If it does stop me out here, I might reverse my position or wait to see how it reacts there. It's going to stop me out. Boom, stop me out. Awesome. All right. All right. Now I'm down 27 bucks. I was up a little bit. I was doing some regular stuff. So now if this closes above the purple candle right now, I can play a failed bearish move and just could give us some more push up. So let's see where this thing closes. It's coming up just a few more seconds. 30-second closed up. This could give us an additional push. I like the way the 30-second looks, so I'm going to enter a couple. Same idea, 5 points, and then 10. See if it can push up to 10 because it's approaching our current morning high. There it goes. There, it immediately ate up my first PP. Second one's up there a little bit. Now it needs to muster up some strength, right? So all I'm playing here is a failed bearish move. This was our bearish move. It gave us a pull down. All right. Now reversed. This candle broke that purple. Now we're seeing that push up. All right. That's all we're seeing right now. Strong uptrend on the 30. Our 5 minute stayed on an uptrend, which made this purple semi-risky, even though we could have gained some. And now it's continuing. Let's see if it can hit our second. Now, things you can do to play it safe, right? You can immediately set, especially in the morning where volume's low, you could set your stop loss back to break even if you want. All right. This is all up to you. This is how I like to trade. I like to hit my TP, right? Entry for me was this candle. My stop would be below this one, right? Or this candle. Stop will be below, right? For me, it's the same. My stop is my entry candle. I actually entered on the 30-second. The 30-second candle was 8:39:30. Yeah, so it was right at the top of this one, basically, as this one was forming. So it's now stuck. My stop loss would be like right below 520. So currently about an 8 point stop loss. And this is how I play these, right? Morning risky. Why? Because we're approaching 9 o'clock. We're about to get some volume pushing into the 9:30 open. And it's always extra risky at those times. I'm gonna put my stop loss a little bit above here, 526, because now I'm playing candle by candle. This point will be barely a now. And like I said, there's so many ways you can play this, right? We can play the trend here, right? The flip of trend at 525. You can play it down here below the cross at 513. If you want to give it some breathing room there, it trailed me out. Now I'm only down $7. This is just like I said, just an example. I'm not gonna hit big, larger targets. I'm just kind of doing a little small tutorial. Right now, what it's gonna do, it's gonna retest its trend. We're starting to see we're starting to see a curl the MAs. Right now we're getting up purple in the 30-second. Risky, why? Because look how much uptrend it's got, right? It could have room to 514. So let's just test it out for shits and giggles, right? So we'll center a couple, stop loss above 29, right? And this will probably stop it out just to show you an example. Same idea, TP, first five, 5 points, and then 10 for me, right? So there it is. Now we get to watch and see what it does. Um, still fighting, and I'm just showing this an example, right? When we fight the trend, what it could potentially do. Sometimes we can catch good plays. Sometimes it'll just reverse, and you'll see a little bit of an L. So I like to kind of show these examples because you get to see what an L will look like and how small it can be, right? There it goes, it's pulling up. Now we're getting the same reversal thing that we saw before, right? Failed bearish move. This closes above. We should get an additional push up, and I might re-enter along if it doesn't leave me completely. Let's see, 2, 1. All right, 1, 2, 3. Let's see what we got here. 7. All right, stop loss will be below this candle at 26, below 26. Super simple, same patterns over and over and over again. Right, and I'm respecting the stop losses. It might pull back. Like I said, this is just like examples, just because we are currently in, little bit of a range, little bit of a move. We're anticipating the open. It's 20 minutes. What time is it right now? 8:44. So we're about 15 minutes from 9 o'clock. So we might see just bounces back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. The uptrend looks strong. So I entered on this candle. Stop is below that candle. No guide on the 1 minute. I'm using 30-second. And let's see what it does, right? This is like the routine that I follow. I stay consistent and you'll see how little the losses can be. And obviously, I'm not being super picky like I normally would trade. I'm kind of just showing you guys examples of what I would look at, what we could see, what we can, enter and not enter. And there's a little bit of a push. There it goes. Almost at first TP. If it gets there, almost about 70 cents, 50 cents. Okay, there's our first TP. We're back over 50. And I'm going to adjust my stop. I'm going to leave it the same, but I'm just going to size down my contracts now. So it reverses and kicks me out, and I'm okay with it. All right, hit my first TP, now my risk is super duper low, and I'm gonna wait for the second thing to hit. All right, and all I did was play this on the 30-second, right? And if you're looking at the 1 minute, what did the 1 minute do? Right, 1 minute broke here, retested its trend, bounced right back up. Now we have a 5 minute cross. 5 minute cross gave it that little extra push up, right? That little push that we saw. But again, volume's still kind of low. What could we see? We could see a push back up here to 549. Right? This cross doesn't show up on the 30, so I like to have both time frames up. This one won't show up on the 30-second. Why? Because the 30-second doesn't collect data as far back as the 1 minute will. The 1 minute will hold data a little longer than the 30-second will. So we could see it potentially come up to 549. If this resistance is strong, we could see it pull back a little bit. And I have a fib drawn out that I like to use. Well, that's awesome, fortunately, in that you get into coaching. Now it's retesting that cross area where the 5 minute, this is a brand new cross as well, right? So this cross can get tested and can be broken up if it's not completely formed. The 5 minute candle needs to close. And we are about to, let's see, what time did this start? 43. So it might have closed up, but it could still get tested. Now we're seeing a curl. We're looking at the 30-second, right? Whenever I'm looking at these curls, right, this is where you could adjust your stop and move your stop, because what can happen here is it's curling, it could push down, right? And it could potentially retest that trend. All right. And the beautiful thing about my one-on-ones, when we do them, right? If you have quantum, when we do these, this is exactly what we go over in a live environment, consistently showing you the patterns as they form back and forth, and entering trades here and there and following the routine. Um, again, I'm not being super picky. I'm just kind of showing you little different ways that we can play. Purple candle showing up now on the cross. Still a decent uptrend to follow. That 5 minute cross is going to get tested and see if it can hold. All right, there's test number one. All right, and these are times where occasionally, it depends on the situation, but I do like to DCA every once in a while. All right, there's a solid bounce. I'm not going to DCA on this occasion because look what I'm seeing, right? I'm seeing that cross on the 1 minute. That's really close to that 5 minute, and that could give it the little push to continue down, potentially put us in this range. To come back down and test 515. Right. This is just me monitoring. There it goes. Look at that. All right, stop me out. Now where am I at? Down 130. Right, control. This is like 3 losses in a row. Again, not being super serious with plays, right? We could just do the same thing, right? So the best entry would have been up here at 29. We've already caught in 710. I'm gonna wait to see what this 1 minute looks like. If it can break through that trend, if it can break through 13. Just that. This is why I like the 30-second, right? If you follow it with the 1 minute. All right, let's see if it can break down 13. Right, you had the 1 minute and a 5 minute, right? So these both, when they flipped, the 1 minute, the 5 minute flipped. Now we're seeing that push. Now, if this can break below 514, now I'm just going to play a regular line break, right? Regular level break. If it can bounce back up, it will just stay in the range until maybe potentially open or until 9 o'clock. Very simple. This is all we're doing, right? That's why sell signal was bad. Finding uptrend, right? Broke up, continued up, now reversed. You saw the crosses. So the sell signal, this one's playing out so pretty nicely so far. You already hit your first TP if you entered on that. I'm gonna wait because I want to see if it can break that 514. If it breaks that 514, it's got room down to about 492, which are our next level down here. Shows up on our 30. Let's flatten it out a little bit. There's 2 ways to play this area, right? Wait for the break, wait for bounce, wait for a little show of sign of reversal. But again, I want room, right? If it reverses, it's only got room. Oh, excuse me, to come back about 10 points. You're already over, say you're 10 if you caught this entry. This is your gauge, right? This led to the flip. Now it's going to be the secondary push down there. Let's see what we can catch here. Boom, boom, break. And I always wait for candle confirmation. If I don't get that candle close or candle break below, there it goes. Boom, boom, boom. Entry, same routine. Stop loss would be above this candle or that candle, whichever one you'd like. Again, risky. Why? Now we're getting that bounce, but it's okay. Let me set my stuff over here. All right, let's see what it does. All right, 2 areas to stop. Up here, or to flip the trend, right? It's going to test the trend. It always does this. Now we're seeing a 30-second potentially curling up. I do like to see if it can retest that trend. It's just basically it's just confirming the flipping trend. It's all it's trying to do. And it could re-enter its range, right? So okay, we enter that range over here. But I do like that it broke that level. And now let's see if we can get it pushed out. I'm playing also just know I'm playing heavier cons than normal. Why? Because it's an eval, and I do play evals aggressively. So just to leave note on that. There's that push. Let's see if it can continue. If we stay in a little bit of a range, but it has room to around 492 if it wants to go. But this signal was beautiful, down 13, 15-ish points almost. And we could do the same routine, right? Candle by candle. There it goes. Come on, keep going. Get that second TP. I haven't hit a second TP yet, but this is more of an ideal play that I would enter, right? So even now, sometimes depending where I'm at, I like to already start trailing or at least trail my stop just because of the time, right? The time we could get a bounce. if that level is strong. And we won't know that until it gets closer and closer and closer. But the 1 minute still looking pretty bearish. The flipping trend looks pretty solid. Let's get that second TP at 503.75, which is about 10 points from that line. Decent if it wants to continue to push. Come on. Come on, baby. Just a little bit more. Just need like 3 more points. That's all I need. Again, I like letting my plays play out. This is what I do, right? I follow my plan, I follow my routine. Why? Because for me it's been consistent and I keep to it. Almost there. Almost there. Come on. Just 1 more point. One 150. 150. Give me 150. There it goes. All right. Now I'm gonna trail, right? My last three. I'm gonna trail it. And now you get to see, bada bing, bada boom. We made the 100 something back that we lost. And now reset, right? This is the routine that I follow. This is how I control my losses. This is how I make sure to protect my accounts, basically, right? There was nothing super risky. I entered pretty much the same amount of cons each time. And I stayed true. I stayed true to the plan, right? You didn't see me averaging in. Well, I mean, I did a couple times, but obviously with the stop loss being the same, I respected my stop. I accepted the L. I move on, wait for the next setup. Next setup presents itself, play it again. Now we can see continue to push down. Now, what am I going to do, right? I'm not going to chase anymore. I already caught my move. Now I'm going to wait for the next move. Simple, straightforward. Nothing complicated about it. Three that you guys got to see a couple different, setups right now, right? We got to play the break of range, right? A little bit of a break of range. We got to play an A plus plus setup. But wait, I didn't enter it. It would have been a really nice entry if I did. But I got to play the A plus plus setup right here with the cross inside the body, you know, formed up inside the 5 minute that flipped, and then boom, saw the big move, and then we saw the break of the line, the break of the cross line. Got to play all three on this little video. So I hope this helps. I know there's a lot of us that struggle, especially with new strategies. But strategies have different rules, different set of setups. But for mine, the rules are simple. The stop losses are always there. They're always the same. I always like to chase my targets. You guys, may be different than me. You guys may chase a little more, but there is a simple strategy built into this indicator, the quantum shift indicator, that anybody can use. Follow the plan, stay to routine, um, and you'll see, the wins tend to outweigh the losses, however small they may be, whatever it is. Um, hope this helps some of y'all out. This was just a quick, like the first couple trades weren't serious trades. The last couple trades were a little bit more, now it was kind of like eyeballing setups and stuff like that. And we got to see a couple play out. So, um, I'll make some more of these. I'll definitely be making some more of these so you guys can use and watch and see how this actually works. And then, hopefully you join our community. We have a great community in, Max Option Trading, Discord, which link is in my profile, which has a ton of great resources for y'all to use from beginners to help you grow. We do live shows. So we have the morning show with Big Danny Max and Llama Pay to Play. Um, we also have Power Hour with myself and Logan, the CSO. Another great solid partner of mine. He's my number two or my number whatever whatever for him he says that I'm going to be his number two. But you know what I mean. We're partners in this. Like Llama has Max, I got Logan. We've been crushing it in Power Hour. We've been hitting nothing but bangers. So we'd love to see y'all there. Join us. You get to see these same kind of setups, these same kind of plays. And if you pick up Quantum, you can track them along with us. And I'm looking forward to the continued growth in our community. It's been amazing. It's been eventful. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.